hostage, right? The president was asked about negotiations just over the bill, and actually he singled out Republicans, not Democrats. Listen to this.
I like John Thune, and it's not easy for him because he's got 3 or 4 people in there that, I'm not big fans of, frankly, and that don't vote for us more like they should.
Alex, you're smiling. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I mean, he's frustrated with anybody that doesn't vote with him, and he'll throw them, under the bus in that situation. I mean, it's frustrating for everybody involved, but most of all, as Abel pointed out, it's frustrating for the American people who have to go and deal with the results of this. And the question is, is President Trump's plan actually legal to just pay these people out of that bill?
And one must wonder, obviously, if you could have done this all along, like it's sort of the Wizard of Oz, where the movie slippers on your feet, you had to click your heels 3 times, you could have all gone home. I don't know. It's pretty novel what he's approaching right now, given the power of the purse. But, when you think about this, I mean, he was calling out Rand Paul. He called out Lisa Murkowski. How can the president negotiate with Democrats if he can't seem to align his own party?
I don't think he can. You have the Republicans in charge of the White House, the U.S. Senate. They broke it. They got to fix it. I know Abel was raised that you got to pay your bills, but I was also paid if I broke something, it's my responsibility. And so that's wholly on the lap of President Trump and the U.S. House and the Republican Congress. They broke our U.S. transportation system.
They've actually passed a bill several times. Yeah, and as well also that the Senate, you got to get 60 votes with the filibuster, so they can't pass it.
So Michael's trying to blame the Republican Party. All Republicans. Look, the Democrats have had this bill. It's just politics, Laura. And you know what? Who's losing? The people. The people of America is losing, and the politicians are getting away with it. Let's just call it what it is.
Well, there's a politician who's not getting away with something, which is the ire and insult of the President of the United States. We're talking about the California governor, Gavin Newsom, and he was being almost taunted over his lifelong struggles with dyslexia. Listen to this.
I don't want a person with mental disability to be my president. I mean, you don't want to have a person with mental disability being your president. And Gavin Newsom said that he can't read a speech. He can't do almost anything.
He admits that he suffers from mental disability. He admits it. And somebody said, a fake reporter said to me, well, it's not fair that you talk about he's mentally disabled. I said, yeah, but he said that he's essentially mentally disabled.
He hasn't actually made that statement, number one. Number two, according to Yale, 1 in 5 people have dyslexia. So the idea of attacking Newsom this way is odd to me for a number of reasons. But also I know that he did respond by posting to X, quote, if you have dyslexia, hear this. Bullies will laugh and call you names. Let them talk. Keep moving. No one, not even the president, decides your worth. Prove them wrong every time. Alex, you've interviewed him a number of times. Describe for me why you think Trump is attacking him this way and what you think the governor makes of it.
Well, the governor sees it as an opportunity. I mean, every time that President Trump talks about Governor Newsom, that's a win for Governor Newsom, who likes to see a political mano-a-mano with Donald Trump. It gets his name out there, and it's frankly good politics for Gavin Newsom. But President Trump, he sees this as a weakness. This is one of those things that he thinks that maybe plays with his base, and that people that follow him who would not be the ones who would tell pollsters that they think this, actually think is the kind of thing that they would say behind the scenes. And a lot of people that like Trump feel like he gives voice to them, the stuff that they were always afraid to say out loud, that they now are hearing the President of the United States say out loud. I'm not sure about the politics of this for Donald Trump, though.
Michael, is there any strategic advantage to going into the gutter in this way?
No, but that's been President Trump's 1, 2, 3 sort of move on everything. When you played the clip of President Trump talking about this, I really thought he was talking about himself for a quick second. Dyslexia affects everyone. It's not a Republican, it's not a Democratic Party issue. And so the fact is he's basically bashing his own party that are dyslexic. The children of parents who are dyslexic, the parents who are dyslexic. And it's not just a Democratic Party or Republican thing. And so those are the things that turn off Americans and it's not a uniting sort of message. So it's interesting to see Donald Trump to constantly go back and use the sort of same tricks he's always used. But I agree with Alex. I don't think this one's gonna work.
Your past here. I mean, as Alex has pointed out, Newsom wants to be living rent free in Trump's mind. He hopes that it translates into political advantages as well. What would be the motivation for Trump to try to attack him this way? Does it mean he fears Newsom as a foe?
No, I don't think so. I think, first of all, I'd like to clarify that dyslexia is a learning disability. And, President Trump's a puncher. And Gavin Newsom doesn't want to talk about what California is today, so he punches at Trump. And what happens is Trump punches back twice. And it's back and forth, as Alex said. It's good for Gavin, but I don't think it's good for Gavin. I think President Trump's trying to ingrain the American people. Gavin's got a disability. That's what he's trying to say here. But let's just get to the facts here. Gavin Newsom is running for president. He's the governor of California, Laura. And when you are a governor or a former governor running for president, you're going to the swing states and you're going to the American people and say, look at what I've done in California. I want to make America like California. That doesn't bode well. So what's his only other option? Go after Trump. Distract people, make it a Trump-Gavin Newsom fight, and not talk about the homelessness here in California. Not talk about unemployment, train the knower. I can keep going on all night. California is not in good shape. And Governor Newsom, I can personally say, has not done a good job as governor. So what's he going to do? Can't talk about his record. Let's talk about beating up on Trump. And then Trump beat back up on you.
But he's not bringing up
Right,
dyslexia.
he's reacted.
Of course he did. I mean, he went out and said,
Well, he's talking about it in his book, but he's not using it as an
he
attack
can't read
line.
the speech. I mean, I've seen his State of the Union, State of the States. Come on. I mean, be consistent with the
He
facts.
didn't say that he can't read a speech. He said that it's difficult for him to read a teleprompter. It takes him a long time to work on it. Most of what he does is done from memory. He is able to read. He just has to read in a different way, as a lot of people that are dyslexic know.
Look, I've been in television for a long time. There's a lot of people who can't read prompter. I'm not in that. I'm not in that. But I will say, I think voters do love it when a person who asks to be the commander in chief and leader of the so-called free world, when they can think off the cuff. Thanks, guys. Up next, Todd Blanche bragging about